CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode. Good morning, Contractor Blue.
Ma'am, to what do I owe the pleasure?
A short conversation is all.
I have no secrets, please.
What do you think of Lieutenant Thermidor?
Well, I think he's looking for a hill to die on. Or he thinks he's already found one and missed his shot.
Noted. How do you feel about his relationship with Mechanist Sergeant Carmichael?
Yeah, they're getting a little closer than I suppose I was anticipating.
And why is that?
Maybe it's because Julius is what Michael thinks he ought to be. Maybe it's because Michael expects himself to be some kind of... Maybe he wants to be the one on the posters, I don't know. I think it's excuse my language, I think it's a damn foolhardy thing to believe, or to feel, seeing as Julius is also his own evidence. Right? He's the outcome as well as the ideal, so...
Does this concern you?
Yeah, of course it concerns me. I mean, he's my friend, in the short time we've been working together, we've grown a little closer, so...
I see. There are a few artificial entities in your squad. How do you feel about working with them?
I tend not to look at whether an entity is artificial or not. I tend to think of an entity as a person, and I tend to find that serves me pretty darn well.
How would you respond if there was an artificial on the other side of the battlefield?
It's happened before, and I'm sure it'll happen again. I suppose the same way I have to respond to a person being on the other side of the battlefield. I would not consider the jacket they wear to be a damning indictment upon them as a person, certainly. But sometimes you don't have a choice, do you?
How well do you think IPS-31A is adapting to Terminal Company?
Oh, Hipsay. To adapt means to change, and I'm not sure they've necessarily done that. I think they are very keen for Terminal Company to adapt to them, perhaps, and I'm not necessarily sure that that's the right decision.
Now tell me about Vermilion Steel.
Hello listeners and welcome to CalazCon. I am your GM, Elspeth, pronouns she, her. Today I'm joined by Don.
Hi, I'm Don, my pronouns are he and him.
And Matt.
Hi, I'm Matt, my pronouns are also he and him. You can find some of the other Beam Saber podcasts I'm involved with at Admiralty Blues elsewhere on the internet.
And Philo.
I am Philo T. Hazard. I use the they and the thems. If you like Beam Saber, then I have great news for you, my friend, because myself and my friend Matt are in a podcast called Admiralty Blues, which you can find wherever good podcasts are sold, and indeed where they aren't. And also, if you like Beam Saber, and if you don't, I don't know why you're here. I do 2 Beam Saber supply drops I sell, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt off of Sun Tzu. And I also do Beam Sides, which has recently, and by that I mean a long time ago, come out with a playbook called The Project, all of which can be found on philohazard.itch.io, and I use the they and the them pronouns.
Are you a Beam Saber big name fan?
Am I wow?
I think you might be a Beam Saber big name fan. I mean, I guess we all are. All right,
don't know what that sentence means in that. I understand the words, and I don't understand them in that order.
It's a trope.
I'll explain who
later.
Ms. Scribe is later. Don't worry about it.
All right.
And on that note, finally, I'm also here with Sabriel.
Hi, Sabriel, she, her. If you want to read my web serial, Clot, a family demonography, you can find that at clotserial.wordpress.com. And, listener, I am talking directly into your ear right now. It's me, your pal Sabriel. Go onto the internet and Google Full Metal Demon Muramasa and download it and play it. Get some trigger warnings first, because Jesus Christ, but for the love of God, I need this from you, listener. Go play Full Metal Demon Muramasa. Okay, bye.
I
feel like there are easier ways to share a hyperfixation. Like, this is delayed gratification, and it's a pretty long delay.
Yeah, no, it was really hard for me not to start screaming the second we got in the call. Holy fuck.
Oh.
It's the best mech thing I've played ever.
Oh, wow.
I might have to check it out, and I'm not even a listener, so...
Look up the trigger warnings. For the love of God.
Good advice.
Yeah.
We would also like to thank our squad sponsor, Lily Young. If you'd like to financially support the show, you can find our Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. As always, camera opens on the squad.
One of the things that would be interesting to point out that both myself and Julius spent drive clocks in the last legislature session.
Yeah.
A ceasefire has been called against the Evangelion forces as we combine to take out this alleged superweapon that we've heard about. And Mike's been trading in the social capital of someone who's getting things done on this front against the 501st to kind of put his support behind Fishy's proposal, because, you know, Fishy, despite what Mike's opinions might have been, at the start of this whole situation, has grown to respect the desire to do something about that. And yeah, let's do something about this super weapon. And so yeah, I guess it's interesting that we're not going to be dealing with Evangelion stuff potentially, unless they decide to break the truce.
Yeah, and I guess we'll find out now, more or less, because you are in the office of your direct superior, Renee Standing Stone, who is doing his level best to put on a brave face after the base and, by extension, his office came under siege.
One of the corners of the walls is missing. We can see sky.
Yeah, you can see part of, remember, there was that one RV that attacked that had a huge sword. You can just see it looming. It's casting a shadow through the corner. Renee's done his best. New photo frames, still shiny. Some of the new furniture still has the cellophane and the stickers on it. There is just also a hole in the entire room. Renee adjusts an umbrella that he's got propped up on one side of his desk to try to keep some of the draft away. And surveys the squad, spreads his arms wide and says, "Well, I think that after the past couple of weeks and that whole unfortunate business, for which I'm, as always, terribly grateful for your intercession with the 501st, strong, decisive, imaginative, you've really sent a message, not just to the 501st, but to the people of Hestial, and I am certain that everyone deeply appreciates that. And it looks like we're all emerging renewed, unbattered, ascendant, the grit of hope in our teeth. I know I am.
Renee, do we have a mission, or...
Yes, of course, you've got...
Thank you.
Places to go, things to see. Yes, well...
It has been a bit quiet around here since we pushed back the front and we're no longer under bombardment by the 501st, but it is getting a little, a little antsy.
Yes, all right, well, have at it then. He hands you the briefing folder for Operation Rainy Day. Empress Gold is putting on a show in kaleidoscoping seafoam, and they're pulling out all the stops. Even by Empress's usual standards, this is exclusive. CalazCon high rollers only. We have reason to believe that the early birds possess intel on the rumoured superweapon project, and they plan to sell it to these superfans at the event. So of course, we need you to crash the party. Find out the nature of the event, infiltrate it, learn what you can, and get out. If you can foil Empress's plans in the process, that would be a helpful bonus. Also, one more matter that may require a firmer hand. Following the recent ceasefire agreement, we've been informed that the Vermin also plan to make an appearance at the event. However, their plans are more of the guns blazing variety. If they beat you to the punch, then that intelligence is as good as gone. We know you have a history with them. Stop them from interfering until you've accomplished your objective, without breaking the terms of the ceasefire. So, your employer is pizza, your target, the early birds, your objective, retrieve the superweapon intel before the Vermin attack and the opportunity is lost. Your secondary objective is sabotage Empress Gold's plans. Your rules of engagement: uphold the terms of the ceasefire, no civilian casualties, and no explosive weaponry.
Just to confirm, the terms of the ceasefire, are we just not shooting at the Joves, or is there something specific? This is Philo asking, not Trip.
Well, Mike was also going to ask this if you wanted to have that in character as well.
I feel like it's something we might know about already,
Sure,
which is why
sure.
I'm not saying it in an American accent.
I feel like the answer is that don't engage in hostilities, but the reason that's vague is because I'm sure that in an actual conflict situation, I'm sure that the definitions and boundaries of these things get somewhat tricky to negotiate, so...
It's vague to cover all manner of sins.
We have some proviso for the fact that they apparently are going to come in and start shooting, and they might catch us in some stray stuff, and they would probably claim that the ceasefire has not been broken because they didn't know about it or some such. So the point is, we need to not get caught with credible proof that we have deliberately tried to break this.
Conversely, I want there to be room for you to be caught by a fun surprise of like, oh wait, technically this very indirect thing is going to get construed as a breach of the ceasefire.
Oh. I was hoping it was vice versa.
Oh, it might be vice versa, but, I'm more concerned with the other end of the spear.
The Vermin, as a reminder, are one of 4 squads at this point that we have a vendetta with.
Oh, yeah, it's 4.
You're so talented.
It's 4, yeah. Thank you, I know.
The squad to which Slipaway Bolt, Mike's rival, also belongs. Sans Mech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a lot. Do we have to go to a party?
Yeah, do we have any details on this show as it's put in the briefing?
Not so much yet. You might have to investigate to get more of the specifics, but it does certainly sound like it might be
the nature of the event, doesn't it?
Some kind of a party, yes.
Okay.
I also want to say that during this meeting, Mike's been wearing a different baseball cap than he usually does. It's got this winking tooth on it, and it says Memento Molar, like, on the back, for reasons that might become apparent as things go on. But for some reason, the branding on Michael's mech and self has changed somewhat.
Great.
Just extremely high priority question. Is it a trucker-style hat, or is it a baseball cap? We talking netting or no?
Well, I don't know. What do you think would be funnier?
Half and half.
Trucker.
Right down the middle, it's
Trucker.
split.
Trucker. We'll go for we'll go for trucker.
I think it's trucker. Funny if it's trucker. This is true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Mike also just strikes me as a trucker hat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True is obviously because she is a trucker, but still.
You can have one too, True. I've got a whole box of these. I got sent over from TFU. It's just like their base is like real close to ours now. And there's some stuff. Spanner said there was a bigger box as well. I don't even want to know what's in it.
I'm not wearing one of those hats, Mikey.
Fair.
She pats you on the shoulder twice in like what she hopes is a reassuring manner.
I know. I only have to because of, I don't know, something fishy sorted out. I'll tell you.
Well, it's good to hear you're socializing.
I know. I've got to put these decals all over my mech. You want a hat? Okay, you can have a hat. There you go.
Julius puts the hat on with absolutely no trace of irony.
Okay.
That is an ugly hat.
I'm afraid hats don't suit me.
And then he leaves to get the dressings changed on his stomach wound.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that.
Yeah.
What level of harm are you at now?
2.
Oh my god, I thought it was 1.
No, it's 2.
Can you get tooth-branded dressings as well?
Oh, we get some rep,
not
though.
that it fucking matters. Yeah, we get some rep.
So, what plans do you have in mind in order to prepare for this mission?
So, find out what the party is, get into said party, steal the plans, kill Empress Gold, and then leave.
I mean, sabotage Empress Gold's plans, that's certainly a way of doing that.
Well, I was gonna say, synonyms, right?
Yeah, alright.
Is Empress Gold a Evangelion squad or a CalazCon squad?
CalazCon. So,
Okay.
yeah, you certainly could kill them.
That is a way of stopping someone's
that
plans.
horrible person who showed up at the beginning of Downtime and was like, ho, look at my cool mech. And then I blew up one of their vans.
Yes.
Oh man, maybe that's a point. If they're here and the vermin are here, that's interesting in terms of stuff Mike might be interested in.
Maybe you can get your rematch with your pathetic fight man.
Yes. Well, it can't be a rematch. I haven't fought Julius yet, but
How does one find out about parties? I'm not cool enough to do this kind of thing.
this is true. Also, as a reminder, we do have a loyal bar, which gives us bonus dice on gather informations when it's relevant. Because of the situation with the Smoke and Roses and Thin Ice being very badly injured as well, is it possible that, we're trying to hire more staff in for the bar? And, maybe we can hit up some of, the freelancers, the contract workers, for, have you also been hired for this other gig? Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think not just that, but just for regular bar custom, as much as this might not be great for the internal security of your FOB, Thin Ice's usual bar patrons are aware that he is here and seriously injured and still struggling to, leave his job behind and is still trying to do his job from a hospital bed. Yeah, there's, people coming through who might have heard all sorts of things.
I think there's areas of the FOB that we've been here long enough that we can close off, or it could be that, the bar is on the outside, it's one of those windows, right? So people are on the outside of it. We've put up, a...
Oh, like a hole-in-the-wall situation?
Yeah.
I guess this sounds like consort.
I was going to say, that's a suggestion from Matt. Can someone who's considerably better at consort than Michael please handle that? If they're so keen.
How good am I at consort?
Yeah, this isn't a very consort group.
I've got
No,
two dice
we have
in
a couple
that,
of
Elspeth.
consulting experts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm very consortable. Triz in the Smoke and Roses every night that week. She's got a big bowl of chili that she did not buy at the bar, and she's just listening to the conversation and so on, buying drinks
You
sometimes.
didn't even buy the chili at the bar?
No, I don't.
Rude.
I brought it from somewhere else.
That's so
People-
rude.
Turning down Thin Ice's chili vat?
In a bowl? You brought a bowl from somewhere else?
Yeah, it's one of those Tupperwares that you
Okay,
can
right.
take the lid off and it's basically just a bowl.
Is it cold?
No, it's warmed. What?
Is it
What?
like a chili
Oh, where
spot
did you
next
warm
door
it?
to a
You
bar?
people not know how to eat chili.
Did you use a microwave in the bar to warm your own chili?
That's really funny. Yes, I think she does. Anyway, the punchline
That's
I
how
was
loyal
trying
this
to
bar
get
is.
to. The punchline I was trying to get to, by the fact that it's a hole in the wall, is someone says no outside food, and she goes, "Well, the rest of the bar's outside. It's fine."
Hooray.
We got there.
We got
That's
there.
a good bit.
We got there.
We got there. We got there. We got
Went
there.
every fucking stop along the route. Good lord. Good springs to New Vegas. Right. What am I doing? Where am I?
You're eating chili. You're finding out about what's going on with this party.
Yeah, I'm doing the roll thing now. I have I have a hub detached So Gary Jules' Mad World is playing in the background of this entire scene as well.
Jesus Christ.
Is that going to limit my information here?
Yeah, I guess it is reduced effect then, definitely.
I got a 6, baby!
I'd say for just some framing, I think the sort of person with that result with a limited effect that you've picked up is you've been asking about jobs. You mentioned freelancers and contract workers, and someone has mentioned being asked by someone who looked like a CalazCon attendee in a pretty bad cover disguise. Someone mentions being offered a weird job in kaleidoscoping seafoam.
Well, now I just want to ask what makes the job weird. That's too tempting.
Well, you might. Well, yeah, it depends how many questions you get, right? But that is not unuseful information, I guess.
Okay. Question 1: what makes the job weird? Question 2: if there is a second question, where is the hope of Calazar going to be during this asshole party?
Yeah, I don't think that they would know that, especially not with your reduced effect.
I thought not, but, if they'd had, a site map or, a guided tour or something, if there was, a mech berth, obviously, somewhere. One of those things that the Gundam, leans in and has a little rest. A Gundam stable.
With the limited effect, I don't think you're talking to someone who got, eyes on the venue, or if they did, then it was kind of limited. They didn't get that good a look. But what this contract worker I presume just a Hestial citizen who's taking jobs from anyone who's offering to get by, which quite often, because of the convention, is CalazCon jobs.
Yeah.
He just says, yeah, so they honestly, I bounced on it, but I don't think I was going to get it anyway, because they gave me a fucking pop quiz, and it was obviously it was their fucking show, obviously. But there were pictures and, was some stuff about dress uniforms. I got the impression that they expected if we wanted to work it, we had to show up in costume. And of course, that was the deal breaker, really. Of course they wanted us to pay for the costumes ourselves. And no, I'm not going down to Hall H or whatever it is and buying a CalazCon canon compliant waiter's uniform with their little badges and their medals and so on. No way.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's a totally unacceptable way to treat gig workers. Here, let me buy you next couple of drinks. Do you want some chili?
Is it good? I've got strong chili opinions.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's got when people put chocolate in chili and that brings out some manner of richness or what have you. Well, I did that and it didn't entirely melt, but it's pretty good.
It didn't melt?
It didn't entirely melt. There's a little additional texture to it. Listen, I tell you what, I'm gonna here's a couple of credits for your trouble. Couple of next drinks. I'm also going to give you a spoonful here. I got a little extra bowl. So, just give it a shot, huh? And she walks away.
Do we also know as part of before we've got this specific person and got that specific information, is there any vibes on what the actual show is that's just come off from what True's been doing?
So it's some sort of event where we're expecting everyone to show up in costume. I would say you are looking at attending some kind of CalazCon LARP.
As an aside, how much access do we have to because we've been in fights with CalazCon cosplayers quite a bit recently.
We did sell off a bunch of their junk, though, didn't we?
Yep.
As part of the salvage last time.
We did.
We captured a bunch of them as well, right?
Hang on. Oh, no, hang on. What do we do with Force Majeure's body?
That was what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. So just let me get this
right. Are we
right.
going to weekend at Bernie's him?
Oh no, I thought I would just steal a dead man's clothes like some sort of ghoulish
better than
parody.
I thought it would be.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to suggest it.
So to blend
It's me,
in,
True Blue, and my good friend Force Majeure. Hello, I'm Force Majeure. I'm still alive.
Listen, I can do a good force majeure impression.
I clearly can as well.
My boyfriend's dead. I love honor.
Oh, he did sound like that. That's very apt.
No, it's fair. Yeah.
So
Whatever happened to that guy?
I just want to make sure I understand. To try to blend in and pass unnoticed at this LARP, you are going to show up cosplaying as the, like, even by CalazCon standards, notably weird Baron Bastardos brigade, the notably weird and intense cosplayers. You are going to show up as the people who are already out of place, and also to cover up the fact that you are the people who very famously murdered them.
I was just thinking
It's on
about,
the
like,
table.
maybe disrespecting the whole concept more than I was really thinking about, like, mission efficacy. Yeah.
Now
no.
I'm wondering if we should all dress as Force Majeure.
Well,
Like Board Squadron as well?
it's established that there are a number of fake ones, but no, that is a
Yeah.
fair. Do we?
That's true.
Like a flash
Got some
mob.
false majeures.
If you all come dressed as Force Majeure, then it comes across as more of like a statement of solidarity. It has kind of like officer down
exactly.
vibes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the perfect disguise.
Oh, you see, I was going away from it, but now we're moving back towards it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into it.
The
I think it's
501st
funny.
might be the weirdly intense, out-of-place cosplayers, but that's exactly who's gonna show up at a party, right? Like,
That's a good point.
they're weirdly intense because they show up to things dressed like this, surely.
And also, people aren't going to talk to us, right?
I just remembered that Julius did a very mildly respectful thing to that guy's corpse that probably wouldn't steal his uniform.
I'm sure you've got other uniforms.
We could get some, yeah. It
Oh,
can't be
yeah, I
that
just
hard
mean,
to-
like, I don't know that he is a desecrate a man's legacy type.
I'm not adverse to it.
Sure, that makes sense. And we do have other options as
Yeah.
well, but we've at least put that image in people's heads, so that's...
Plan A, flash mob.
I mean, to be clear, your other option is that CalazCon is a hell zone of rampant capitalism. You could just show up and buy a cosplay kit from a merch stand.
You want us to spend
point.
money on this military campaign we're trying to run? We're doing this on the cheap.
Does it have to be, like, general CalazCon canon, or is it, like, specifically from a series, or what? Is it, are we going to get into...
Which timeline is this coming
Yeah, which
from?
timeline? Are we going to get told for, like, anachronistic stuff?
I don't think you know that. I think you're just going to have to, take a punt on this
This guy
one.
wasn't super in the know, was he?
No. Yeah, I think you're just going to have to, pick your Calazar franchise favourites that you definitely have and hope for the best.
Can Michael make some kind of interface role to hack into... Is there some kind of, like, organizational Discord they've got that I could try and hack into?
You start searching for that sort of thing and you soon realise, wow, this is, like... The briefing mentioned CalazCon high rollers, and they weren't kidding. This isn't something that's being, openly advertised. Empress Gold, being the sort of marketing expert that they are, is definitely cultivating an aura of exclusivity. You find rumours more than you find, actual advertisement, or, here's a link to buy tickets, or here's what the venue is. So nothing quite so up front, but yeah, you could definitely try to hack in to steal someone else's invites, or just look at the invites. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. If they're sending out can I clone someone's e-tickets?
Yeah, I think you could definitely try that.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's see. Let's go for an interface roll. I've got red in terms of my harm. Do you think that's gonna? Slippery's not really involved in this. Am I good to be on 2 dice for this one?
I think you're alright, yeah. I think that will come up generally if you're, 1v1ing someone, just for paranoia of, am I too obvious? Do I, second-guess my moves?
It's a 5 and a 2.
Alright. What does a limited effect on this one look like?
What if we get +1 tickets? So we have to show up as part of this other person's party, or entourage, or what have you.
That's great. Yeah, that's really good. Okay.
Who are they?
Yeah.
I'm imagining what this looks like is that like their one ticket has already been authenticated and linked to their convention ID, but because +1 tickets are indeterminate, these are the ones that you can clone more easily because they're yet to be assigned. And the poor sucker whose ID you happen to grab is someone called Barnaby Shale.
Okay.
Okay, I'm taking the boys around to Barnaby Shale's house, and we're going to threaten them until this isn't a problem.
All right. Yeah.
Finally, something I can treat with typical blunt Julius Thermidor problem solving.
Yeah, you get the venue, or you don't get a venue. What you get is it just cryptically, very thrilling, very mysterious. It just says rendezvous and then like a set of coordinates. You trace the coordinates. It's a nondescript, like empty lot, like destroyed lot on the edge of the kaleidoscoping seafoam area.
Spooky.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming the vibe here, this is very much an on-foot kind of mission. There doesn't seem to be much provision for Rex being super useful here.
Depends. You might need provisions for things going bad and going loud very quickly. You also have apparently some kind of vermin assault force that you need to persuade to be a bit more hands-off.
But we can't break any truces, and they probably know that, so...
Yeah, but they can't break any truces either.
Yeah, okay, I gotta go intimidate a guy.
All right, have fun. I made you a packed lunch.
Is it chili?
God.
Listen, I only know how to make one thing, and my wife's on the other side of the galaxy.
I think we get a scene where, like, True hands, like, the Tupperware of chili to Julius, and, like, Mike, obviously the relationship with Mike and Julius has been a little bit frayed. It might have been repaired a little bit from working together on the drive clock stuff, but, like, True hands over it, and then leaves, and then Mike just comes around the corner and just moves out and is just shaking his head very slowly as he drops, just puts his hand and, like, no.
Alright, where's Barnaby Shale's house?
Well, that's the first fun surprise. Barnaby Shale's house is just a little bit off Praction Plaza, and you rock up to the address, and at first you don't realize it's there because it is a mansion that has been, in light of the hostilities, very rapidly been developed into a walled compound. Barnaby Shale is, clearly from here. Like, this is, like, nouveau riche, but, like, classic rich person in Hestiol area, and is clearly just absolutely loaded.
Good for him.
Knocking on the door.
Okay. Have you brought any assistance?
Yeah, I brought all of Board's stuff.
Yeah, figures. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say you might get improved effect on this one.
Okay.
You want to roll sway?
No, I want to roll command.
Fair.
Okay.
So I figured I'd, like, meet the guy before I figured the flavoring of it.
Right, okay.
But if I can roll first, if you'd prefer.
No, alright then. There's, like, a video intercom on the wall, and it blinks into colour, and you see a Calazar lieutenant. So I'm imagining a slick black uniform and, like, a line of medals pinned along the breast, and very, like, slicked back kind of greasy hair on the other end of the intercom. Speaking.
Hello, Barnaby Shale.
This would be Mr. Shale's lieutenant. Can I ask what purpose you have in coming here?
Barely suppressed sigh at the word lieutenant. It's above your pay grade.
I see. The image folds with a surprising degree of ease, which makes you realize that this image is definitely an app and not an actual person. And there's a brief pause, and then it's replaced by a very different looking image, which you presume to be Barnaby Shale. So for our listeners, this is a brown-skinned guy in a white hoodie with short curly hair and a futuristic looking plastic sort of half face mask going up to the nose.
He looks like someone who is not really committing to being cybergoth.
No, I'm getting problematic influencer vibes.
That's what I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm. Barney Shell looks up and says, hello, hi, how can I, how can I help you?
Barnaby Shale, you are going to a party in the near future.
What? No, I'm not.
I need a number of individuals taken to that party as your entourage.
Look, if I was going to something, then it would be, if I was, then it would be kind of exclusive, and as much as I understand your hype, I love what CalazCon is doing to this city. It's really great, really shaking up the place. Really, I'm told it's really disrupting the real estate space. I can't just let anybody come along with me, you know?
Mr. Shale, there are armed men outside your house. This does not have to be difficult.
Okay, I think you need to roll now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is this technically offering a peaceful solution?
I mean, I would only give me a +1 in future versus Barnaby Shale, which I don't think I need. Okay. I won't lie to you. I think I can probably beat him. That is a 6.
Turns out that intimidating this YouTuber was very easy.
All right. I see what you're putting down. I get it. You want in, and I can understand the hype. I get it, and sometimes you just really got to take the opportunity when you see it. Not everyone can work themselves up from the ground floor of the Hestial fan scene quite like, in the way I have. And, sure, I'd be happy to help out some fellow fans. So, all right. Could we just, have a bit of a back and forth, maybe a quick stand-up, quick 15-minute meeting a few days prior to talk about costume plans, because I've got some things in the works.
Yes, you've apprehended us perfectly. That's what we're interested in doing. We would like to go to the party because we are very interested in the television show Calazar. Yes, I will be in touch. Thank you. That will be all.
I think that was the most positive outcome for that guy.
Yep.
There's definitely a scenario where that man ends up dead after that conversation, just right away.
There is so much time for him to still end up dead.
The conversation just ends with Barnaby just saying, great, drop me an address and I'll send over the mood board that I've been working on.
Oh, hell yeah.
And, it's just, it's just really great to see the range of diverse fans that the Calazar community attracts, and then the intercom cuts off.
It's rare that I meet someone and immediately hate them.
The diversity of armed goons in the fan community.
Deep sigh, turns to the 20 armed men that I brought with me, and we go home. Someone else is gonna have to take that meeting. It's not gonna be me.
Deb's not it.
I'll do it. That's fine. I feel like I'm used to dealing with people like this.
So speaking of which, do you have any plans?
Not hugely up front. I mean, I figure the venue is probably already being prepped, but I was mainly going to focus on getting supplies, costumes, etc. ready, and seeing as Barnaby's got a plan for that already, may as well have a meeting first.
Okay, so is there anything particularly you want to get out of this meeting, or do you just want to, play it out?
No, I think I would be interested to just meet this person, but we're kind of trusting to not betray us, and also get a vibe check on the person who's into the party.
Bad. The vibes are bad.
The meeting starts. I think it's a video call again. The call begins with Barnaby being passed a tall like highball glass with some sort of a CalazCon-themed umbrella in it from off-screen. Hey, yeah, great to meet you. Wow, really just incredible team that you've got together here. Just so many fascinating individuals. Okay, so I've been thinking about the look and also the entrance for the dead drop. You know about the dead drop, right?
We would need a little more information, actually. I think there was some communications mix-up. We do have the location for arrival, but have you heard more than that?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, you see. It's, that's the whole vibe, super, ultra, top shelf, exclusive. And this is how it's done when you want to, keep things really on the down low. Just the choicest company only. They're going to take us to a secondary location.
That's a red flag.
The coordinates are just the rendezvous. We're going to be whisked away.
Some circles, that's known as a kidnapping.
I mean, if it was a kidnapping, maybe it is a kidnapping, that would be a pretty exciting opening.
I agree, that would make for a very exciting party.
The kidnap arc from season 5 with the performing circus ruse. Yeah, it's a classic.
Mm. Well, we should certainly be ready for anything to happen. I can tell you're very invested in our preparations for this event, Mr. Shale, so would you care to enlighten us what you had in mind for costuming?
So before I get into sort of the details of the creative vision I have for this whole spectacle, I want to know more about you. What brought you into the fan community? What are your aims, goals, intentions?
Well, I actually very much enjoyed downloading and very quickly watching through multiple seasons of CalazCon, but in particular I was interested in the season 5 arc with the robotic conclave. Being obviously a robotic person myself, I found their interpretation of the subject very interesting. And from there, the community is just so supportive, as I'm sure you know.
Right, yes, representation. I love it. Love the representation.
I'm glad we're on the same page about that.
I think we are going to have an excellent time with what I've been cooking up. You saw the mood board, right?
I've taken a look over it, but obviously your own personal thoughts would be really useful.
Okay, so speaking as Elspeth, quick aside, what is just a really incredibly weird and kind of awkward LARP costuming concept that Barnaby could have come up with for a fictional anime? Because I did not get this far.
Oh, there's so many options.
I kind of like what was brought up before about, what was mooted regarding, the force majeure situation. Is it just a bunch of people dressed up as, characters who had died during the series?
What if we're all dressed up as Char clones?
What?
Yeah.
There's a trope in Gundam about Char clones who are characters who look like Char and act like Char. Like, they have some aspect of they either wear a mask, or they have the whole, gentleman combatant thing, or they have, the blonde hair, or they have the,
how every Pokemon generation has, an electric mouse of some description in it.
Yes, exactly, except with Char Aznavour.
The Pikachu of Gundam.
But in CalazCon, these would be Bastardos clones, though, right? Effectively.
Right.
But what would the trope be then? Is it just masked and driving a Toyota?
Listen, you can't get far in a military salary. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah, maybe this shouldn't be Bastardos, but for some reason, for whatever reason, somehow in the CalazCon franchise, there are a lot of characters that happen to look like Char from the Gundam franchise in our universe, and we're all dressed as that.
I don't think that's especially unlikely at all. I like Char clones.
Yeah.
Char clones makes me happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so not like exact copies of the guy, just like, like reoccurring examples of the same character type throughout the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Perfect. Yeah, so I think Barnaby is explaining this and is saying, like, it'll be like, it'll be clever, it'll be so meta, like, it's like we know that we are the same in parallel timelines.
It rhymes.
It rhymes. Yeah.
Much like poetry.
Yeah, I never understood that poetry that didn't rhyme.
So, what do you think?
Well, it's a good creative vision, I have to say. Did you already have some of the costuming together, at least for yourself? And, did you have the resources to maybe help us acquire some pieces? We could go, of course, to the halls and see what we can find, but, we want the best stuff possible. It has to be canon compliant, of course.
Obviously, I'll have someone send it over this afternoon. It's handled.
Excellent.
It's definitely not something that I had handled some time ago, short of a lack of people to wear it. No. It's sorted. So, you're in? I'll see you there.
Yes, we're in. Looking forward to it.
All right. God, this is just fun, isn't it? I'm really, like, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm from here. Me and my family have lived here, owned a few small businesses around here for, a while, and I just love what the early birds did with the place when they swept in, It's really, really shaking things up. I think it's really reinvigorated the creative soul of the city. To have CalazCon really brings the city to life.
Oh, well, we only arrived just after the con really got into the swing of things. Was there something specific that you appreciate the early birds doing?
Oh, just all of it, like I think that what they're doing is rejuvenation and regeneration, and sure, there's going to be some growing pains, but I think that the Hestial that rises up, one with the incredible creative power and innovative force of the CalazCon fandom behind it, will be stronger and better and so much more exciting for it. I really think it'll be ready to be a galactic player on the creative stage, and I'm excited for me and my friends, obviously, to be on the, out there on the creative front lines.
Yikes.
Well, we're very happy to join you on the front line, Barnaby. And I think that's the end of the call.
Oh, you said the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, whoops. I didn't realise what I was doing. Okay. On that note, any other plans that anyone has?
I mean, kind of waiting to see what gets sent over for these costume supplies, but I am a bit like, so how's my artificial frame gonna fit into this plan for all looking like similar characters?
They got robot stuff.
Yeah,
right?
They got robot stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, but how robot are their robots? How much am I going to have to change my appearance for this?
There's a CalazCon series where their Char Aznable is a robot.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Basically, I'm not telling you what the costumes are. I'm like, now that we've decided the theme, I need you to think about the fictional Char Aznable iteration that you have been assigned.
Okay, that's probably good, because probably not going to do this, but I was briefly looking at my sheet and going, is it time to tick my pilot gear and give you all the lifelike appearance, ipse, where I look like a human?
Yeah, that would be something.
Is that your human sonar? That's cringe.
I was just going to ask, are we all going to this rendezvous point and all going out of our mechs and to the secondary location? Or are we leaving someone behind to follow at a discreet distance?
That's a good question. I also wonder about Board Squadron.
Why don't we leave Board Squadron with some big fucking trucks full of mech? And then if we need them, they can show up with them.
That seems good.
Yeah. Because, like, we're not getting them all into the party, so...
No.
Yeah, +1 probably only goes so far.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Is that we're just leaving Board Squadron out, or are we leaving, like, a pilot out as well?
I was thinking about that, but I kind of want to be on the ground during this mission.
I, for once in my miserable, benighted life in this Beam Saber game, do not want to be in my big robot doing killing, so... Yeah.
Like, from a tactical perspective, having, like, Mike stay back, especially in the fastest mech, to keep an eye on things to make sure we don't get hit by all this other stuff, I think is something that Mike would bring up tactically. I think that's something that would come up.
So you're talking about, like, hanging back and trailing for everyone else from a distance?
Yeah, I think that's something that Mike would bring up, for sure.
I don't have a good in-character explanation for it, but I do think it would be more fun if we were all infiltrating.
That's also the thing. Is it fun for us all to be infiltrating?
I guess the thing to consider is, like, do you want a contingency plan for the vermin, or is your plan just get in and get out before they're a problem?
Well, so I did have another thing to do, actually, in planning related to that. I've just realised something I could do, because I think we've still got a couple of days, right, potentially before the event.
Yeah, sure.
I basically just want to go to the empty lot ahead of time and check if there's been anything set up there Vermin might be playing an ambush with. And then honestly, I could just hang out there until the party, because don't really need to sleep or eat, so I can just hang out.
Okay.
And basically be on watch at the rendezvous point, so if the Vermin are trying to prep something to attack during that, because they might have also got that information. We might get some word of it.
Okay, you want to try this sounds like a survey to me?
Yep, I can do a survey. That's a 6 and a 2.
Alright, with that, I think you get there, and at first it looks completely insignificant, like it does just look like a patch of, like, dirt and rubble. Except, you notice that part of it looks oddly sort of flattened. There's a part of it that's very conspicuously been tidied, as if they're expecting... as if there was something there, or there is going to be something there. And I think towards the end of your first day or so staking the thing out, you see 2 large helicopters descend and land in a lot. And you see a few people disembark, look around, talk things through, and unless you intervene, eventually they get in the helicopters and just take off again.
Do those people look like they're from the Vermin? We've encountered the Vermin before.
They look
so.
very CalazCon. You'd say mostly early birds, and maybe one of them looked a bit different. Maybe one CalazClash, which is interesting. You did not know that they were going to be around as well.
Sure. Alright. They're probably prepping for whatever the thing's going to be at the rendezvous, so yeah. I'll just ignore them and let them get on with it.
I think it's fair to say you might realise this is probably a rehearsal for the taking to a secondary location. So, if you wanted, you could tail them and find the secondary location.
Ooh.
They're leaving in the helicopters though, right?
Yeah.
But I could try and follow them as best I can, at least see what direction they're headed.
Yeah,
I'll try and get as best a look as I can then. Yeah, sure. I'll go after them.
Alright.
The rest of the squad would also be keyed in on this as well, right?
Yeah,
so you could call in and go, rather than try and chase them on foot, you might be able to let someone else know if they wanted to.
Yeah, that's not a bad plan. Actually, I mean, Mike would probably be able to scramble pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah, I will communicate back to base and relay what just happened and said they just left the site, 2 helicopters heading, and then give a direction at what they're going, roughly what speed they're going away from me, and say, if you want to try and follow, that's where I saw them go.
Would you want a maneuver to try and do this stealthily, holding back out of radar range or very low?
I think you're good. I think we've already had the roll. We've already had a 6. I think that we can sort of just bundle these together. I think I will show you the map for the actual venue as you follow the helicopters to a reclaimed, formerly for the use of the Hestial citizenry, but a community centre in Kaleidoscoping Seafoam. Looks quite large, formerly a leisure centre. You can see a swimming pool outside that's been filled with concrete. And it looks like several other structures have been added on as well. Most notably, you see what looks like a landing strip that's been hastily sort of cemented over just outside.
As in, one's been set up or one's been covered?
One's been set up, yeah.
Right, okay.
Probably not 100% up to code, but serviceable. I mean, I guess this does sort of answer that question from before, because now we do kind of know where it is. We could hole up our mechs nearby to here with Board Squadron, right? So
you certainly could, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that means we can get them as close as possible without being detected. Yeah.
At which point,
yeah, I like that.
We've got our remote vehicle controls if we need them, so it would make sense. We might as well all go in.
All right.
Oh, Site Absinthe and Site Bordeaux are 2 of the areas. Those are 2 very different vibes.
They are. There's also Site Cointreau.
Site
all just
Cointreau as well,
yes.
Yes. Conveniently ABC alcohols.
Yes.
Oh, I hadn't got that. Oh, very good. This is Absinthe is on the left, Bordeaux is on the right. These are kind of areas of this large central kind of.
And I would also add that the reason Site Cointreau is in the middle is that it is a tower. It is a triangular-shaped spire jutting out from the main body of the building. So, engagement rolls. So you start with 1 dice. Is the mission bold? Yeah, okay, 2 dice. Does the mission exploit the target's vulnerabilities?
Yes.
A little bit.
They've invited a whole bunch of YouTubers on site, and we're merged into the CryptoTuber herd.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Plus, they think it's a secret location, and it's not. So that's kind of getting around that as well a bit.
That's a good point.
3 dice. Is the squad receiving external support for the mission? No.
Is Barnaby Shale external support?
I don't think...
I assume that's from another
Okay, yeah,
squad.
sure.
Yeah. And that's not support, that's more just a guy you have conned. Is anyone interfering with the mission? Yes, the vermin. That's not a secret. So we're down to 2 dice.
Only the vermin. That's good to know.
Are there other factors affecting the mission?
Is that where our backup plan might come into it?
I don't know if just having your the squad's resources there is necessarily a +1, because that's just a thing that you have,
Sure, 2 dice is not too bad anyway. Well, we don't actually. I'm getting ahead of myself. We don't know if there's negatives.
There is, because the early birds are a stupidly high tier. They're tier 4 now, so that's a -1.
Okay.
So that would put you at 1 dice.
Is there anything we could do to alter that? By which I mean, pitch what we've done already in such a way that it could be considered a +1 dice on top of having our teams here.
I will give you a +1 for the true location of the event, and they don't think anyone should know that, and that's why having Board Squadron there is good. So 2 dice. Would someone like to roll that?
Sure, yeah, I can do that. Is it just a roll 2d6?
Yep.
It's a 5 and a 2.
I think with that roll, you arrive at the rendezvous, and it's immediately clear there is meant to be a sort of stern, covert atmosphere. There's the 2 helicopters running back and forth between the rendezvous and the actual venue. Their landing sites are flanked by 2 figures dressed in black, sunglasses, earpieces, They see you and they just nod. You meet with Barnaby, who is noticeably jittering and even through his costume you can tell is actively biting his tongue. But eventually a helicopter lands and you are all rapidly whisked onto it, given a swift, cursory security pat-down, not meant to actually find anything, just for, immersion.
Oh, good, because I do have guns.
Yeah, we will... Yeah.
Oh, yeah, load. Pilot load.
Oh, yes.
Oh, shit, this has got to be light,
It's gotta be light.
Fuck.
I've marked light load already.
Ew.
Mm-hmm. Your helicopter takes off and lands on the airstrip on the map, where more men in black meet you, usher you off the helicopter and down the walkway towards the venue, towards the community centre. And the walkway is designed to evoke a covert meeting in the middle of war. There are RV and vehicle parts that have been strewn aesthetically, the wreckage of war artfully arranged in a way that one only sees on television. There's a sign to name, in theory, the name of this. You gather some sort of military, black site that you're supposed to be arriving at, but the name has just been redacted out with black tape. There is fake sand that has been deposited, and from somewhere in the walls of the community centre, a hidden fan blows to stir up the sand into a sort of blustery light storm around you, and to ruffle all of the various sort of hair and capes and cloaks that you might have aesthetically. You hear the click of a hidden camera photographing you as you go down the walkway. You're sure that those photographs will probably be available for purchase or download at some point, sometime after the event.
Not if we can help them.
As you make your entrance into Playing at War. So as we see you come down this expertly choreographed pretense at a secret military meeting, what do you look like?
I'm not sure on which series this is from. I've got in my notes Calazar Knights X, but I'm not sure if this is the right one. But I think this is from, another lesser-known series, which is kind of like an AU show. It's investigating kind of more of a kind of Breaking Bad style of things. And so what we've got here is Bulba T. Highborn, who's wearing an almost rumpled... It's a red suit, a tie with a very fancy tie pin on it. And the mask. So Bulba is a used car salesman, selling, Toyota type vehicles, one might assume. But is also, that's a front for an organized crime ring, right? So it's that kind of vibe. And this is taken from late in the series, a specific part of the costume, where he's got one of his arms in a full arm cast, one of those really wrapped ones. So if I need to have my engineering glove later, I can have that in a manner that we can have without being patted down. And walking down as the wind is blowing and the tie is kind of it's been pinned down, but his suit is rustling in the wind. And also it's basically it's a gimmick, right? So the gimmick for the used car lot is that you're dressed up like someone that looks like Charles Noble in this case. So the mask is also there.
All right, Julius, how about you?
Oh, yeah, this is great. We get the contrast right away. Okay, Julius is in evening dress. He is wearing a floor-length green ball gown. I think it's probably kind of a mermaid dress. I think it's not very kind of poofing out at the bottom, but there's a little bit of sort of a tail situation going on. He has a blonde wig on. It looks shockingly nice on him. And he has, in place of his... he normally just kind of wears a chain around his neck. He has an extremely complicated gold necklace situation. I don't know what the name of the show is called, but this is like an early CalazCon, right? I think if you pressed him, Julius would admit to being into like the Zeta Gundam equivalent, right? Which is a show that probably aired before he was born, but still, he is in cosplay as Lady Ashtaria Scrivener. I don't know a whole lot about what her deal is, but her mech is in the gold necklace. There's a whole thing where there's, like, several, like, iconic scenes in the series where it, like, explodes off of her and she's wearing sort of like a person-sized mech suit.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Great. Ipse or True?
One of the only series that True actually stayed awake for almost the entire thing was Calazar, Would You Tell Me Otherwise? Which is an OVA series from about 12 years ago. And it's about the ace pilot Once Bitten, who, after being killed in the previous series, quote-unquote killed, instead of wakes up amnesiac. He takes the name Twice Shy and works at a jazz bar, essentially, but his old life is catching up with him. So, True is wearing a large brown fur coat, a button-up, which is not buttoned up, like there is one cursory button right at the bottom and the rest is open, and like slacks and braces. She is also wearing a metal canine skull mask, and she has a double bass case under one arm.
What's in the double bass case? Or is that to be confirmed?
What do you think is in the double bass case?
A double bass, obviously.
Double bass.
No.
Whatever needs to be in there, we declare it, I guess.
I have to admit, even though it is not remotely the obvious reading, when you introduced this character's name, I initially heard Once Bitten, like W-A-N-T-S, which is a very different character.
The outfit has that energy, I feel.
True. Okay, Ipse.
Yeah, so Ipse, while also staking out the rendezvous point, has repainted their chassis themselves for their cosplay, and also added some extra bits and pieces. So I'm now almost entirely sort of deep navy blue purple toned instead of all the white and green and gold that's usually on the chassis. And then I actually have small holographic projectors which are projecting a sort of magenta mask over my face, but my sort of lenses are still just about visible behind, but it's like actually actively glowing and showing off. And then also, final detail, the antennae that are on the back of Ipse's head normally, those are fairly long, but this character, which I'll tell you the name of in a second, has basically a fan of long antennae streaming out of their back in a sort of peacock tail style. So there is like this radiating set of antennae which are all individually articulated and move as I turn my body in coordination with me. This is a character called Ion 6 from Calazar Chromewing, which is a spin-off that is loosely tied to the robotic enclave that I mentioned earlier from Season 5, but it kind of has some of the same characters, but they're also a bit different, so there's lots of canon debates about whether or not it's actually the same characters, or if it's kind of a, reboot with making some characters based on the robot enclave, but yeah. That's what I look like now.
Incredible. Good fashion choices all around. It's occurred to me, I don't actually know what Barnaby's whole vibe is.
I think it needs to be as mole samurai as possible. So, like, a cheap katana. It's good quality shit, but, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Is it from, like, Calazar Ninja Storm or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Calazar Hidden Blade. That's it, definitely. I feel like, given me inspiration, there's got to be a mask here. I feel like just to be slightly in a spirit of like mild one-upmanship, Barnaby has a mask that's like full face and is almost like 4 different faces in like 3D like quarters of a sphere. And yeah, is probably wearing like this long black jagged trench coat. Very like Tetsuya Nomura Final Fantasy-ass fashion. There's a lot of zips. And yes, a katana, definitely. So, Barnaby, and presumably all of you, are looking pretty confident as you march up this walkway. And Barnaby goes to flash the ticket and the +1s at the door when a figure stops him and says, "Excuse me, Mr. Shale, but I believe that we did have a maximum of 2 +1s on this event, and I'm not sure. I can see that these tickets are indeed legitimate, but it's I'm not sure how that can be the case unless you somehow managed to play the system a little, or perhaps take another guest's +1s." And Barnaby just immediately looks back and fumbles and says, "Well, you see, there was some confusion, and unless you step in, Barnaby is going to completely fumble this and get some of you kicked out."
Can I give that a go?
Yeah, what do you do?
I'm going to put my double bass case down, lean it carefully against the wall, and tap the top, and just step aside with the security person. Listen, forgive the intrusion. Myself and my colleague here, and I gesture at Ipsay, I think. We're additional security brought on by Barnaby's family. They'd received some threats to their life recently. There is a war on, I guess, but I'm sure you folks are doing a fine role, and it's good of you to have flagged such a thing. But it's really just ensuring the kids' safety while also meaning that they get to indulge themselves here, right? I do apologize for any inconvenience. Is that going to throw off your numbers too badly?
I understand the security concerns, especially with such a prestigious individual.
That's our primary concern. It's really for the best of, Hestial as a whole,
but
right?
You understand that given the nature of our clientele, Mr. Shale is hardly an exception in that regard, and we therefore can't go making this exception and allowing extra guests for all of our attendees, you see.
I'm not asking for all of your attendees. Just the one.
I know. What I'm saying is simply, if Mr. Shale is to be granted this exception, then what am I to do when all of our other equally deserving and equally prestigious guests come demanding the same thing?
Myself and my colleague will already be on site. I would say that additional security personnel, that's going to be for the benefit of the entire whole, surely. Should anything occur, which I'm sure it won't.
This is time for a roll, I think. I think this is Sway.
Yep.
Could I throw something in as an assist? Because I've got this big old cast over my hand, but I think underneath it's basically such that I can be using the part of my glove. I think it's these are my fine engineering tools, and I think it does have potentially a little sub keyboard that can be on the palm, so you can little tap with the same hand that it's on, right, as a backup system. Can I send out some kind of... Mike's hand is as he's trying to type out a small little bit of code to maybe send out some kind of pulse to their whatever. Because if they're checking the things, they'll have some kind of iPad or something like that, right? Or some kind of other tablet. Send out some kind of message that would support this ruse, an additional allocation of security.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe an email from 3 days ago or something like that shows up in their inbox, which is purportedly from their family or something like that.
Yeah, alright. So how much stress do you take and how many benefits does True get from that?
Oh, that's true. I'd forgotten that it was... I would take just one in that case, then.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm guessing the benefit you want might be an extra dice, True?
Yeah, seeing as I have nothing in Sway currently, I'm almost tempted to push myself as well. What does the collateral look like?
That is a very good question. Yeah, I think what it looks like is you attract attention, and I start a 6 clock for the vermin launching their assault.
That seems like a clock that's going to get started at some point.
Yeah, like, how many notches would you put in that?
I'd tick it once.
Yeah, fuck, we can do, yeah. Do you mind if I take your help as well, Mike?
Yeah, go for it. I've also worked out the name of the series that Bulwati Highborn's from. It's not Calazar Knights X. We'll keep that as a separate edgy thing. This less RV focused, more personal, low level crime version is called El Calazino.
That's all right.
Good.
Risky standard?
Yep.
2 dice, baby. Here we go.
Oh, that's not good. That's a 3 and a 1.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That's impressive.
It's another one of those classic true blue rolls, everyone. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to kill this man.
So this is a woman. She has
Well,
a
I
name
guess
tag.
I'm gonna have to kill this woman.
Her picture is on roll 20. She's a sort of thin-looking Asian woman, kind of silhouetted in blue light, with a headpiece and some very heavy eyeliner and some dark lipstick. Her name tag reads Hippolyta Parch.
Good name.
She's nodding along, and when you mentioned her having some sort of a tablet or something, and I think she does. I think she has this very slim, elegant kind of Art Deco arm harness, necklace thing, going along her earpiece behind her head and reaching out in front to hold her iPad. And as you try to send your corroborating email, Michael, she glances at it, waits for True to finish speaking, and says, "That's all very well and good, but you have to understand the fact that you've transparently just tried to corroborate your story with what I can only presume is further false documentation. I'm afraid is not doing you any favours. I'm going to be gracious and not presume foul play on the part of all of you, and I'm going to have to ask 2 of you to step aside, keeping Mr. Shale's party to the 2 maximum +1 tickets. If you don't resist this, they're only going to knowingly let 2 of the squad in with Barnaby."
Oh yeah, resist, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have 4 stress remaining. This is a hell of a thing to potentially scar out over. Resist with expertise and the entire building just starts being bombarded. I could try and resolve resist. That's only 2 dice, but that's not too bad.
Someone could also step in and protect.
I could resist it.
Julius does love resisting things.
I do love to resist things. Yeah, no, I think I can just sort of step forward. Ma'am, we understand you have concerns. However, this would all go much easier if you simply let us in. There would be no problems for anybody.
Are you threatening me? I hope you understand the forces that you bring down in your head if you intend to proceed with this.
Ma'am, I understand exactly the forces.
And so what are you suggesting will happen if I don't let you and your fraudulent entourage proceed?
Friends, how much are we prepared to let me escalate here?
I think Mike might step in at this point.
Yeah, I think
I'm not going to shoot anybody.
No, to say, I think what my friend here is trying to say is, purely from a logistical perspective, if 2 people are to be left behind, then where are they exactly going to go? If they're hanging out here by the walkway, it's going to reflect poorly upon the nature of this event. Just having people hanging around outside.
And the security detail of the event itself, it makes you think it's not actually that exclusive, huh?
So you see her murmur to herself, and the facade breaks, and you see the stress as someone who has clearly been tasked with running the whole front of house of this thing. I think you maybe catch her murmuring her breath, Empress doesn't get to hear about this. Too embarrassing. Right, okay. Well, if that's how you plan to address things, and if indeed you are such dedicated employees of the Shale family that you intend to dutifully loiter outside my venue, then yes, proceed. She looks at you, True. Your offer to represent and safeguard the security and well-being of all of our attendees is duly noted and accepted. Please, enter.
Thank you kindly. It's all for the kids' benefit, you know?
Yes. There's a slightly acerbic smile on her face as you begin to be concerned that you may have implicitly signed yourself up for something later.
Should I roll at this point?
Yes, thank you.
This is 6.
God
yeah,
damn.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy. No problem.
Now that we're in, I'd like to make some moves immediately.
Okay, so you're ushered in. Barnaby is, tugging at his collar a little. He sort of, mouths, thanks. And then awkwardly sort of, tries to shuffle you all up into, a sort of, triangle formation with the 5 of you, so you can make your dramatic entrance. There's someone by the door to announce you. Your in-character names, obviously, so presenting Ion 6, Once Bitten, Bulba T. Highborn, Lady Ashtaria Scrivener, and 4 of Masks. I think that's the name of Barnaby's guy. And yeah, you enter into this vast glass atrium. There's music, there's a string quartet. It's doing pseudo-classical pop rearrangements of Calazar music, predictably. Very, vitamin string quartet-ass type stuff. You can already see some displays from which you catch the glint of chrome, polished metal, the barrels of weapons towards the center of the atrium.
Where's Empress Gold?
You do not immediately see them.
Cool, I'd like to find out where Empress Gold is. I feel like there's a couple ways I could do this. One of them might just be survey, or I could consort. Actually, I'm happy to just, mingle.
Come back to that. Is there anything else that anyone immediately wants to do upon entering this room? You realise that, by CalazCon standards, this is pretty exclusive. There's staff who you can see seem to be drawn from the sort of general Evangelion citizenry of Hestiol. Impressively, for something the size of CalazCon, the actual attendees, you would guess probably not more than 100. And you can just see all manner of bizarre cosplay and costuming going about. You can see people forming off into cliques. You even see people seem to be getting more in character, sort of skulking in the shadows. There's a stage towards the right side of the atrium where you can see someone adjusting a microphone. Is there anything anyone else would like to do?
What are these displays that folks are looking at? You mentioned polished chrome and you mentioned weaponry and such?
Yeah, they're pretty simply mounted on large plinths, but you can see one holds a huge, sleek sort of elliptical, burnished chrome missile launcher. It looks almost impossibly futuristic. It looks more aesthetic than functional almost. It looks like this one lineless, seamless ellipse, but then the one end of the ellipse is jutting out enough that you can tell, that's actually the head of the missile. It's almost as if the front end of the whole thing detaches and is fired. The other thing that you see is, it's pretty straightforward. It is a colossal double Gatling gun. Not to, go for the obvious thing, but I'm imagining, it just looks like absurd overkill. I'm imagining the Armored Core 6 Gatling gun, but if you duct taped 4 of them together. So that's immediately a bit of your intel. You're looking at a very big Gatling gun and a very futuristic-looking missile launcher. So they're definitely new models, but there's nothing groundbreaking here.
They're it's a weapons show, they're fairly new weapons, but they're not this isn't the headline event, right?
Yeah, they're not groundbreaking. There's got to be something more.
This is for auction or something like that, right? These weapons.
You don't know yet. Like I said, there's a microphone being set up. Maybe you'll find out soon. But for now, I don't want to leave Julius in the dust. How would you like to find the whereabouts of Empress Gold?
Can I just ask around?
All right. Yeah, sure. Go for it.
I think Julius would like Mike to come with him.
Okay.
Just because, he's, trying not to die, I guess. Yeah, and I think I am circulating, and I am making conversation with people.
As we're going around, I think I've set my my arm tools to be any packets that are coming around. Like if anyone's airdropping anything, it's get it, connect it. It's as we're going around trying to figure out, if there's any loose data about hoover that stuff up. Just as a side Michael thing that he's doing, and if we could figure out where a more mainframey type node is that we could potentially connect into, that would also be useful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm posing as maybe an overeager fan of Empress Gold who's just a little bit too excited to meet them.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have that consort and see how this goes. So we're still on risky standard, I'd say.
I've got 2 dots with you, and
Cool.
I think that'll take me up to 4, but I think that's fine for the time being. And I think we got a little glimpse of it before where, for some reason, Mike's sort of slipping into this Saul Goodman-esque persona where for some reason he's better at lying than he would normally be. So I think he's trying to... How has this happened? I don't know. But I think, as well as me just setting the line of doing that packet sniffing type stuff, he's also just looking nervous and oh yeah, and giving examples of when they did this, when they did that, selling the superfan aspect of it. I'm your even more socially awkward hanger-on friend, I guess.
This is very fun because I think that Julius is leaning into his character a little more than he necessarily expected, and I think Lady Ashtaria Scrivener is the full Ojo-sama. So he's laughing at people behind his fan. And I just rolled. I got 4, 4, and a 5. It says in the Roll20 risky standard, but that should be risky great.
Yeah, so you used 1 extra dice and 1 upped thingamy effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. You get your information, but not in the way that you necessarily expect. You keep asking around. For a while, it's slightly difficult because Barnaby trails you for a little while because despite all of his enthusiasm, he's very awkward and was hoping to be able to ride on the tailcoats of some people who, on some level, he acknowledges are cooler than him. But when he realizes you're doing this, over-eager fan thing, he sort of trails off, probably to see if True and Dipsy are doing anything more interesting. But you duck in and out the crowds, and you get a few people who are a bit more out of the loop, or just maybe who? Yeah, I guess that they'd be here somewhere. You get some people no, I haven't seen them at all. And you get some people who maybe almost kind of knowingly just say, why would you think that they'd definitely be here? You don't even get some people being oh, they're probably over so-and-so a place or something. The lack of knowledge is in itself telling. The sort of overall read that you get here is, there's no way that Empress Gold is not here. Someone would say, oh, I don't think they're here. Most people seem pretty sure that they would be here, but no one has even a hint as to where. Basically, you get the sense that wherever the most, secure inner sanctum of this whole event is, there's a VIP zone. There's somewhere that's, even more exclusive. There's a super special secret area or something. Empress Gold has to be there. There's no way that they're missing out on this, and it's the only way everyone would be this clueless.
Do we have passes to get in there?
Well, I'll get to that. But first, you did roll a 5.
Yep.
As you finish your inquiries, you hear a gentle cough behind you. And you turn to see a shorter man with this bright red curly hair with platinum streaks, wearing what looks almost like the attire of an MC at an event or something, a big ostentatious red, flared coat with a matching purple waistcoat, and a bow tie. It just offers a glass of champagne to you and says, I think that the gulls will be flying home tonight. I see you've been asking a lot of questions. Taps a finger on the side of his nose. Good thinking. I like where you're coming from.
Yes, I'm an enormous fan of Emperor's Golds.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? And as fans, we have to stick together. You understand? Some of us can concern ourselves with paltry things, but some of us have a duty to get to the heart of the matter, yes?
I think at this point Julius remembers that he's also doing a character. Definitely isn't, because I forgot. And he sort of looks up and down at this weird little person, just tries to get like a sense of them while making it look kind of like a contemptuous, sort of like dismissive stare, and then it's just like, well, I don't think you're very interesting, so I don't think we'll be talking to you any longer. Come. And just like takes Mike's arm and walks away in the other direction.
Hey, who was that?
I think from like a reflective surface, the glass and mirrors of the atrium, you see this figure raise a glass in toast, wink, and slowly turn away. You may be away from him in physical space, but you have an eye on you, and the consequence is your position dropping to desperate.
That's fine. That's
and it's
normal.
funny you should ask who that is, Michael, because as he turns, both of you get the feeling you've definitely seen this guy somewhere. You just can't put your finger on it.
And is that just for me and Julius, or is that for the entire squad?
Well, I was going to say, I don't know how near you True and Ipsy are. I don't know if they saw this guy.
I think Julius is reporting any of that to True and I guess Ipsy. And I assume that we've all got throat transceivers because those are all zero load.
Yeah.
Although, to be clear, when I was asking that, I meant who's at Desperate. Is it just myself and Julius, or...
I think it's everyone. Like, you arrived at a party. If someone has an eye on the two of you, then, like, if he has an eye on you, then he knows who you showed up with. True Nipsey, what are you up to? It looks like they are ramping up to having someone speak on that stage, but, what are you up to before and when that happens?
It sounds like Barnaby is primarily sticking with us. I was actually going to try and ask him about, now we're here, if he knows anything about the information being sold, or if he knows anything about this VIP area.
True, you with Ipsy for this?
I can't think of anything better for True to be doing right now, so here until proven otherwise.
Alright.
Oh, I could have made a Schrodinger's cat joke. God damn it to fuck.
Another time. We'll forget it in time for next mission. Barnaby turns to the two of you and says, well, I have no doubt that there will be secrets hidden within for us. The wheels have only, the wheels have only just begun to turn. There is a game afoot, and what we must do is discern the rules.
You don't have the slightest idea, do you?
Wisest is he who admits that he knows nothing. I'm pretty sure that they said that in season 6.
I don't think the length of my sigh came through entirely on Mike, but...
What you gather is, like, the people here don't know that they're here for an auction. Like, this has been sold to them as, like, you are here for the exclusive experience being organized by Empress Gold. It will be worth your while, whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
Your intel tells you that at some point the stakes here are intel for the super weapon. They don't seem to know that.
That is what I was trying to determine, and now we know that he's not going to be helpful getting us any closer to that.
A glass is tapped across the microphone on stage. Hippolyta Parch has taken the microphone. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, esteemed soldiers in this brave conflict that we all face. It brings me and our esteemed hosts the utmost honor to be able to welcome you here to this top secret covert conference. We have assembled you as the finest, the best, the boldest, the smartest in our forces to assess the latest developments in the war and to test your skill at them for an ordeal that will bring glory to our names, the nature of which we will confirm at midnight.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited and sound balanced by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at CVBlight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.